Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen. What I thought I'd do today is I would make a pitcher of Southern sweet tea. First you have to get you a nice tea pan. If you don't have one, you can find one. Just keep in mind that when you do start using it, if you keep using it, it will stain inside, and that's okay because that's just how it's supposed to look. And so I'm going to fill it up with some cold water.
That looks about right.
About like that. Come back over here to the stove. Get it on the stove. And I use Lipton tea, but honestly, you can use any tea that you'd like.
How many do you use?
I use 10 for a gallon. And something else I do, I pull the little paper tags and the little staple off.
Yeah, we don't want to drink that.
And then you drop the tea bag into the water. But what I was saying, you can use any tea, any kind of tea bag you like. As long as you look on the box of ingredients of the tea and it should say orange pekoe and pekoe cut black tea. As long as it says that, any tea is fine. And that's something my mama taught me a long time ago. But I use Lipton because it's what they sell at Costco. Y'all didn't see that. We're going to keep going, bloopers and all. I don't care because this is real life. So I'm going to do this, get these all in here. I'm going to go ahead and get this turned on high. Make sure it just all gets in there. Because what you're going to do, you're going to have that on your burner of your stove, and when it's going to get hot and it's going to start boiling, and you're going to let it boil for about, when it starts to boil, you're going to take it off. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. You're going to take it off the heat, and then you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes.
This is a patient dish. As you can see, she's still putting tea bags in. But that's kind of what's good about the South. Everything you just have to be patient with, so.
Yeah. So I've got those in there.
Makes a mess, so be prepared.
So you got those all in the water. Then I'm just going to clean up my mess here. Well, I'll just do this. Like I said, this is real life, y'all. I'm not fancy. I'm not a professional. But I got that in there. And I'm going to get my gallon tea pitcher. And I got me some sugar right here, just regular granulated sugar. And what I do, I get about 3 scoops for a gallon. And it'll measure out to right around a cup and a half, a little bit less if you like, a little bit more if you like. Either way, it's fine. So you got the tea pitcher ready. So I'm just going to let that sit there. And you got to have you a long-handled spoon to stir. So we're still waiting for that to get hot. My son is in the Navy, and he's out in San Diego. He joined the Navy when he was 19 years old. And one day he called me from California. And he was like, "Mom, oh my God, I found a little jug here at the store and it said Southern sweet tea." And he was so excited about that. And so he bought it. He thought, "Oh my God, some sweet tea. I get some good old sweet tea." And he told me he got back to his room, poured himself a glass. And he said it was the nastiest thing he had ever drank. So we had a discussion about how easy it is to make sweet tea. Most of y'all understand all this. My son, who was 19, we had to go all the way back to go to the store and get you a long-handled spoon.
True story.
Because he did not have a spoon. He didn't have a pot. He didn't have a tea pitcher. So I'm on the phone with him. And he is at the PX, 19 years old. Has no clue where to even find the housewares. And he's telling me about the things he's seeing. He's like, okay, Mom, he said, I got a stock pot. I said, no, sweetie, you don't need a stock pot. A little too big. And he said, okay. He said, I got an 8-quart pot. I said, you don't need an 8-quart pot. That's too big. 8 quarts way too big. And I kept telling him, just find you a saucepan. Saute pan. No, not a saute pan. You don't want a saute pan. You want a saucepan. Well, I don't know what a saucepan is. Finally, I told him the only thing I could think of was, you know the pan at home that I make macaroni and cheese in? It is not this. Let me just state that right away. I was trying to get him to understand the size, and he went, yes. I said, that's the size you need. And he found himself a saucepan. So at least y'all, I hope you don't have to go all the way out to the store and get you a long handle spoon, like my son did, to make him some Southern sweet tea. I've been making this tea like this. Well, that's how I just grew up making it, and my mom made it that way. When I was in high school, one of my friends called my mom to ask her how she made tea. And this was way back. We won't discuss how far back, but it was way back. And my mom walked her through how to make tea, because she said, y'all just have the best tea ever. And to this day, this is how my friend in Illinois makes her tea, because she doesn't know any other way except the way that my mother told her. And let's see, what else is there? Got to thinking about different foods in the South. The South has its own kind of thing, like the sweet tea. If you go somewhere and you ask for a glass of tea and you want it sweet and they bring you a packet of sugar, it's already too late to make it sweet, because that won't work. You'll dump that sugar in that cold glass of tea, and all it's going to do is spin around in the liquid and then settle at the bottom. And it's not going to taste good. So Southern sweet tea, that's definitely something that's more prevalent in the South. What else is some Southern things? Boiled peanuts, something of the South. I love boiled peanuts. Not a lot of people I know do love boiled. My daughter loves boiled peanuts. My husband can't stand boiled peanuts. Brunswick stew. That's something I thought of. And I have found out since moving to the South that there is about 50 million ways to make Brunswick stew. I only know how my daddy made it. I got his recipe, and maybe one of these days I'll make it for y'all. It's rather time consuming. But there's about 50 million ways people make Brunswick stew. And it's all good. It's just there's all these different ways to make Brunswick stew. Banana pudding is something else that is mostly in the South that you see around. Gosh, I can't think of anything. I know there's a lot of things, but I can't think of anything right now. If y'all think of something, let me know. What do you think of that when you think of makes you think of the South? Because we really do down here have our own way of life, and our own way we cook our food, and the way we visit with people, and sometimes even the way we just say hey to everybody.
Amen.
So that's something if you have anything that you'd like to mention about the South, just let me know. Tea is almost to a boil, and when it gets to a boil, for the sake of time, I'll go ahead and pour it up. But what you would do once it gets to a boil, you would just want to take it off the heat. You don't want to really let it boil much at all, but take it off the heat and let it steep for about 5 to 10 minutes. You want to make sure it's still good and hot though when you mix it with your sugar, because if you don't, you're going to end up with the sugar floating around in the liquid, and it's not going to incorporate into the drink. So it's almost ready to pull off the heat. And remember, like I said, any kind of tea will work as long as it says on the box orange pekoe and pekoe cut black tea. Remember, that's something my mother told me a long time ago. And let's see, just about ready. You don't need to stir it or anything like that. Just let it sit. It's almost there. And I hope y'all are enjoying watching this. I'm still incredibly new at this. And I'm enjoying doing this, and it is a lot of fun. You know, let me know what you think about it. If there's anything you'd like to see or anything that would help me out, or something I'm doing that's not helping me out, you can just let me know. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn the heat off because it's just about to boiling. And I'm just going to pull it off. I'll give that a few seconds because you want to let it sit. Sometimes I just kind of push the tea bags down into the super hot water to help the tea flavor.
That's some good stuff.
So you just let it sit. And something else, all my life I thought everybody made tea like this, and I found out growing up they did not. So that was kind of eye-opening for me. So let's see. I'm going to, for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here, and I'm going to do this over here at the sink.
It could get messy and it's hot, so you just kind of want to be prepared. I've learned the hard way growing up that this is some hot stuff.
Yes, my daughter got burned
3rd grade.
on the cheeks with the hot. Now I'm just holding the tea bags back as well as I can, and I'm pouring it in. But if one falls in, no big deal, just fish it out. Like I said, we're not fancy. And I squeeze out gently the liquids. Just going to set that in that other side right there. I'm going to stir up.
Dissolve that sugar.
I feel like there might be a tea bag in there.
Perfect learning
No,
experience.
So I'm going to stir it. The sugar has dissolved. I'm going to add some fresh cold water. Get it filled up.
Make sure you stir it real good too,
Oh yeah.
or else your first few cups will taste like water.
And there you go.
Voila.
That's how you make a gallon pitcher of sweet tea. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a good day. Come back and see me. Bye-bye.